We cannot legislate or hire our way out of this gun problem.
Some are questioning if now is the time to bring the National Guard to Baltimore in the wake of the mass shooting at Brooklyn homes. Why some say it's necessary, while others call it a bad idea. Fox 45 News putting together a timeline of that shooting and demanding answers about Safe Street's role. What the timeline is revealing. The lawsuit against BGE over gas regulators is growing. Who's joining the legal battle and why?
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Our coverage of this weekend's mass shooting continues as we investigate lingering questions surrounding police response. Fox 45 News looking into calls for the National Guard to come to Baltimore. Acting Police Commissioner Richard Worley says the city has enough officers to keep citizens safe despite a shortage of more than 500 officers. But now he says the department is looking into claims that only 7 officers were assigned to South Baltimore the night of the mass shooting. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. With massive police shortages, the department is in need of help. Fox 45's Maxine Stryker taking a closer look at whether that help could come from the National Guard.
In the wake of the Brooklyn mass shooting, police staffing has been called into question. As of June 29th, the Baltimore Police Department telling us they have 527 sworn vacancies. Baltimore's FOP saying just 7 officers were patrolling the Southern District at the time of the Brooklyn Day mass shooting, an event police now say they didn't know about until a few hours prior. The stunning shortage of officers is not a new problem.
We cannot legislate or hire our way out of this gun problem in the city of Baltimore any more than we can around the nation.
After another mass shooting along York Road in Cold Spring Lane last month, one community member called on help from the National Guard.
Just a few years ago, with the Freddie Gray riots, you saw the Guard. And I remember hearing the Adjutant General, a pretty woman named Linda Singh, come on the news and say, oh, this is not martial law. Forget about that. This is not, we're not taking over, but we are a presence.
He believes their presence alone could be a deterrence.
Even if they're unarmed, because on your streets, on your corners right now are armed individuals. So why not have somebody who's armed and knows how to shoot and won't take out Taylor Hayes or Mackenzie Elliott or any other. Oh, this should have happened a long time ago.
Last year, the Randallstown chapter of the NAACP urged Governor Larry Hogan to declare a public emergency and deploy the National Guard to Baltimore in an effort to quell rising gun violence. But the last time the National Guard had boots on the ground was 2015 during the Freddie Gray riots. The Guard is often called to respond to state-level emergencies, but we asked Sergeant Betsy Smith, spokeswoman for the National Police Association, if the Guard came to Baltimore not to arrest but assist. Could they be helpful in curbing crime?
I think what we would end up doing if we brought in the National Guard to Baltimore is we would be endangering those volunteer soldiers.
Former Baltimore Deputy Police Commissioner Jason Johnson agrees.
This is a police problem, and not only the police, but I mean, it extends across the community and the various city agencies. But I mean, primarily we're talking about crime fighting, crime prevention, deterrence. It's really a police and criminal justice problem, and it has to be addressed by those agencies.
Smith suggests calling for federal help to step up instead.
I would implore the mayor of Baltimore to go to the federal government and ask for assistance. We have a large number of federal agents in this country, and it would be great to see the Department of Justice deploy them to cities like Baltimore. But again, they have got to come with prosecutors to quickly and swiftly deal with the violent criminals running the streets.
Like those who opened fire in Brooklyn, leaving 2 dead and 28 others with gunshot wounds and the painful memories that will last a lifetime. In Baltimore, Maxine Stryker, Fox 45 News.
Fox 45 asking Mayor Brendan Scott's office, would Mayor Scott consider requesting help from the Maryland National Guard to act as deterrents and stand guard in neighborhoods? Would the mayor consider asking for federal assistance? So far, we have not heard back.
About the Safe Streets workers that were there previously shows you that there's a lot more work that needs to be done with this program.
Some big questions for the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement about Safe Streets workers being at the Brooklyn Day event before gunfire erupted. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost continues her investigation into the gun violence prevention program and has the latest on what we're learning.
We're piecing together a timeline of what happened during the day and leading into the evening of Brooklyn Day. We know Baltimore police knew about this event hours before the mass shooting took place, and we're demanding answers from the mayor's office to find out why Safe Streets workers left and why no one told the Baltimore Police Department this was happening. Before 11 o'clock Saturday night,
it's quite a big crowd.
Dispatch audio revealing Baltimore police knew a crowd was gathering.
It's Greg McCord, but there is probably close to 900 to 1,000 people, so just stay back.
And people there concerned about safety.
Discharging a firearm, 8:15 Herndon Court, people shooting and fighting at the location, anonymous caller.
But when police showed up on scene a few hours later, 30 people had been shot already, 2 young people killed.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here.
During a news conference Monday afternoon, acting BPD Commissioner Richard Worley says the department didn't know about the event until it was happening, but the city's flagship gun violence prevention program did.
Earlier in the evening, some of our Safe Street staff, just as a part of their community activities, were out there and actively de-escalated 3 to 4 conflicts.
It's unclear when Safe Streets workers were at Brooklyn Day, but we know Monzi did not alert BPD of the massive gathering. So we sent several questions to Mayor Brandon Scott's office and Monzi, including how did Safe Streets workers find out about Brooklyn Day? What time did they leave and why didn't they stay at the event later? Will protocols change within Monzi and other city agencies to relay information about potential threats?
This was a failure on many levels.
David Williams, president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance, says the mass shooting is another red flag for a program designed to prevent gun violence.
There needs to be a reality check with the mayor and the city because he can't keep on heaping praise upon an agency that is failing at every level at this point. If this really is the future of Baltimore City, Safe Streets should have had a presence there all day, not just part of the day.
Williams also calling for more accountability for the money being spent on Safe Streets. Monzi just announcing $5.1 million in federal COVID relief money going to Catholic charities to run Safe Streets, the same nonprofit running the Brooklyn location, located just blocks away from Brooklyn homes.
This is a failure on so many levels, and giving money to these nonprofits may be the ultimate failure.
The Catholic Charities contract, good for 2 years, and the same organization getting $3.9 million last week from the city to run Cherry Hill and Penn North Safe Street sites. $12 million awarded to LifeBridge's Center for Hope to run 8 sites for the next 2 years. Meanwhile, Mayor Scott and Monzi not getting back to us on those questions until after our deadline, not answering all of our questions, but saying internal policies are now being reviewed. The city council is calling a hearing to bring these city agencies together to try and figure out how there wasn't better coordination. That hearing is scheduled for next Thursday. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Now, a Fox 45 News alert in 3, 2, 1.
The Wycomico County Sheriff's Office is identifying the teenager killed in last night's mass shooting in Salisbury as 14-year-old Xavier Corday Maddox. 6 other people were shot. They're expected to survive. Now, that shooting happened at a block party after midnight. The other 6 people shot are expected to survive as well. Authorities haven't released any details about possible suspects or what led up to the shooting. They're asking anyone with information to call the Criminal Investigation Division. That number, 410-548-4898. Governor Wes Moore released a statement about the mass shooting in Salisbury saying, quote, I grieve with the victims in Salisbury and their loved ones, as well as the community that has lost one of their own. To those who are hurting, my heart is with you. You can find the governor's full statement on our website, foxbaltimore.com. Mary?
Kai, thanks. Well, after clear skies for most of the day, we saw some heavy, intense rain move across Baltimore late this afternoon. This video taken from just outside our station in North Baltimore shows just how hard the rain was coming down. Let's go now to Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Myers for a look what we can expect tonight.
Yeah,
Jonathan?
look at some of that flooding there on West 41st Street, and still some leftovers, but the stuff over the city is gone. Eastern Shore still getting a couple of isolated downpours, and this is going to be the case over the next couple of days, really. You may be asking any more for Baltimore. Well, take a look at the HG radar. Not a whole lot left. We did have about 1 to 2 solid inches of rain, even a couple of areas south and west, 2+ inches of rain along the Montgomery and also the Montgomery County as well as Howard County line. It does look like the muggies stay the next several days, but I'm going to let you know when showers and storms could cool us down again. My Weather Authority forecast.
Jonathan, thank you. New developments tonight in the class action lawsuit against BGE and its external gas regulators. There are now more than 300 plaintiffs signed on to sue the utility company. Residents in West Baltimore joining the lawsuit, saying they petitioned and even tried their own lawsuit against BGE when the company started installing outside regulators at their homes last fall. While BGE claims external regulators are for safety and to improve gas delivery citywide, residents say the project lacks transparency and is damaging their homes. One woman says her gas was shut off for months when she refused to have the gas regulator installed outside of her house.
It didn't add up, and we found it very difficult to get clear, definitive answers to why it was needed, and every neighbor was told a different story.
You're seeing right now the kinds of issues that unite us all. BG&E has tried to divide and conquer us, but we won't let it happen.
Today, BGE told Fox 45 News it can't comment on pending litigation and does not comment on individual customer accounts or complaints. This case will be back in front of a judge on Monday. The Baltimore Police Department weighing a new policy that would include using drones during SWAT operations to scan crime scenes. They say the new plan would give the crime scene unit a more efficient and cost-effective way of taping crime scenes to use in court. The department says the technology would not be used all the time, but on a case-by-case basis. BPD will hear public comments during a 30-day period starting tomorrow. A potential attack leaving Ukrainians on edge, the nuclear power plant being safeguarded tonight, and the impact a nuclear disaster could have for that nation.
Who's to blame for the rash of violence over the holiday weekend? I'm Janae Bowens in Washington. Coming up, I'll tell you who's responsible and what's being done to prevent crime.
After several deadly mass shootings across the country over the holiday weekend, including one here in Baltimore, communities are now left to pick up the pieces. National correspondent Janae Bowens has the story.
Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. are just a few of the communities that saw deadly shootings this holiday weekend.
The people shooting, they're the ones to blame.
Cully Stimson, a former prosecutor and crime control policy expert, says part of the problem when it comes to violent crime is what he calls progressive prosecutors who do not enforce the law.
So you're seeing violent teens assaulting nannies and moms, walking in broad daylight in San Francisco. You're seeing what's happening in Washington, D.C. over the weekend with people driving up in a van and just shooting people who are just enjoying fireworks. You see what's happening in Philadelphia.
On Monday in Philadelphia, a mass shooting left 5 dead and 2 children wounded. The suspect has been identified as 40-year-old Kim Brady Carricker. The New York Post reports Carricker is a Black Lives Matter supporter. Reports show Carricker had been arrested in 2003 and faced several charges, including possessing a weapon illegally. But it appears he did not face jail time.
According to the National Association of Police, 9 out of 10 police departments are short-staffed, which experts say is a major concern when it comes to violent crime.
We have had 3 years of the vilification and the demonization of the American law enforcement officer.
But President Biden and other Democrats say the violence is an issue of guns.
Congress needs to step up, pass common sense gun safety laws to protect our kids and educators.
We as a country still allow the sanctity of American guns to outweigh the sanctity of Americans' lives, and particularly Americans' children's lives, and that is something that we have to change.
While there's no clear consensus on how to reduce this kind of violence, the latest data from Pew Research Center shows a growing number of both Democrat and Republican voters say violent crime is a major problem for the country. In Washington, I'm Janae Bowens, Fox 45 News.
As to our national question of the day, do you think your elected leaders are responsible for spikes in violent crime? So far, 97% of voters say yes. Head to foxbaltimore.com/vote. Click on the Pulse tab to weigh in. Developing overseas, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warning that Russia may attack the country's largest nuclear power plant. Ukrainian officials say Russian troops have placed objects that look like explosives on the roof of several of the plant's power units. A UN nuclear watchdog group says it hasn't been able to find any explosives, but has asked for more access to parts of the plant to widen their search. Experts say any disaster at the plant would be similar to the 2011 nuclear disaster in Fukushima.
All right, the next weather maker slated to come in actually over the weekend, but till then it's going to be more of these isolated showers and thunderstorms that we're going to be dealing with pretty much day in, day out. Right now, things quieting down. Lower eastern shore south of Easton, there's a couple of little showers left over from some of the rain we had earlier. And boy, did we have some rain in Baltimore. Got anywhere up to about 2.5 inches in places down south and west of Columbia into Howard County. Got about 2.5 inches here in the city. Actually, not too far from TV Hill. Got about 2 inches right around Charles Village. And now all that mess is down to the south and east. Notice some of the clearing out just to our west. That's because there's really not a whole lot of systems. But that next bigger weather maker out west of that does have some more thunderstorms with it. Until then, heat and humidity abounds through our Thursday, through our Friday. Beat goes on all the way into Saturday as well. Right now, Mile and Tascam, we have recovered back to 90 degrees. Feels like the mid-90s this evening. So temperature at 90 Baltimore, 88 at Elkton, 90 degrees at Laurel, 95 at Westminster, and temperature at 86 at Easton. So we're starting to see those hundreds pop up again on the heat index map. And again, it looks like it's going to be sweaty and steamy all the way into the evening and the overnight. The spot showers and thunderstorms pretty much gone. May see one up toward Carroll County. You see on the future scan there through about 9, 10 o'clock. After that, dries out overnight. We're back at it again with some spot storms into tomorrow afternoon. Again, high temperatures probably going to be now day 5 of 90 plus coming for our Thursday afternoon. I'll let you know when we could have some rainier relief. That's my exclusive 10-day forecast in a couple of minutes.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
An isolated thunderstorm put on a sky show near Lynchburg, Virginia Monday night. As you can see in this time lapse, it produced an incredible amount of lightning. Lightning was also on display in many places last night, including here in Beaufort, North Carolina. And here you have July 4th fireworks and the full buck moon all in one shot along the South Carolina coast.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
A Northern California food truck out tens of thousands of dollars after it says it fell victim to a scam. The warning the owners are issuing coming up. A Northern California mobile catering business is now out tens of thousands of dollars after it says it fell victim to scammers. Myra Franco from our Sinclair sister station in Fresno has the story.
I hope nobody else falls into his hands.
The owners of KG Teppanyaki, Adriana and Geronimo Nicanor, known as Chef Nico, are now speaking out against a food truck fabrication and manufacturing company in series. That's after they say they hired builder Fernando Ochoa to customize a brand new food truck and never heard from him again.
A month go by, he started calling him, he started texting him. He got no answer. I called his office, his business. Nobody would pick up.
The Nicanor couple say they were so excited to finally expand their business. In January, they say they started shopping around for the right person to make their dream food truck come to life. That's when they found the company 8A Food Truck on social media and went to check it out in person.
Everything looks like legit, so I told my wife, like, you know what, let's go check it out, this guy, you know, and then we go there and then we see his work and then the trailer.
Sold right away. They borrowed a $20,000 loan for the deposit. The total cost of the food truck they wanted was around $57,000. They signed contracts and were told by Ochoa to take their floor plans to Fresno County for approval. They did. He also told them,
Once the floor plans are approved, it'll take me like 3 to 4 weeks to give you guys the trailer. And then you guys will be in-house financing the rest.
It's now July and they are left without a food truck and are $20,000 in debt. They say Ochoa took their dream and their hard-earned money.
A lot of stress.
It's very hard. We try to stay positive, but it takes a lot from you. It tears you up, and it's hard when you're working as hard as we are, and for somebody just to take our money like that, it hurts you.
All right, exclusive 10-day forecast starts off with 92 tomorrow. That would be another day of 90 plus now. So we're at day 5, day 6, day 7 of 90 plus through Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Only a spot afternoon thunderstorm just like today to cool you off. Could have some heavy rainers though. Sunday showers and storms. That's a better risk of rain. 87. We pop back to near 90 Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, staying in the mid to upper 80s, which is about seasonable all the way into next weekend.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, finally tonight, Anne Arundel County Animal Care is waiving all adoption fees right now. The shelter says it has reached capacity and needs the public's help in finding these animals a forever home. Potential adopters still must meet all of the shelter's regular adoption requirements, which can be found on their website. Right now, they have more than 20 dogs and 90 cats up for adoption. Well, that's all for Fox 45 News at 6. Family Feud's up next. We'll see you back here for the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.